You're sitting in your manager's office. The words hit you like cold water. We really value you here, but there's no room to move up right now. You nod, smile, walk back to your desk. Here's what nobody tells you about that moment. The person who gets promoted next quarter, they're not climbing up. They're moving sideways, and they know something you don't. I've been thinking about this for a while now. Why do we assume the only way forward is up? What if the fastest path to the top runs horizontally? MIT researchers studied this exact question, and what they found? It completely rewrites everything you've been told about career advancement. Everything. Lateral movers, people who shift horizontally into different roles, get promoted 20% faster than pure ladder climbers. 20%. Let that sink in. For decades, career advice followed one script. Work hard. Get promoted. Move up. Repeat until you hit the C-suite or burn out trying. Simple, right? But that playbook was written for a different economy. One with clear hierarchies, predictable promotion cycles, and companies that rewarded loyalty with steady advancement. That world is gone. Today's organizations are flatter. Hierarchies have compressed, and the path from associate to senior to director, that straight line doesn't exist anymore. In 2026, we're stuck in what economists call a low-hire, low-fire market. Companies aren't adding headcount. They're not laying people off either. Everyone's just frozen. And here's what happens when external hiring freezes. Internal mobility becomes the only game in town. The people who understand this are playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. MIT Sloan Management Review ran the numbers. The opportunity for a lateral move was 12 times more effective than a promotion at predicting whether someone stays at a company. 12 times, not 12% more effective. Not twice as effective, 12 times. That's a staggering gap between what we think motivates people and what actually does. Here's another number that surprised me. Lateral moves are 2.5 times more important than pay in predicting whether an employee stays. More than money. Think about that. Companies spend millions on retention bonuses, salary adjustments, and compensation packages. Meanwhile, the thing employees actually want costs nothing. Opportunity to grow horizontally. And the data on actual career outcomes is even more striking. Career mobility research shows that lateral movers have a promotion rate increase of about 20% compared to pure vertical climbers. Wait, so people who step sideways actually climb faster? That's exactly what the research shows. The counterintuitive strategy is the winning one. So why does moving sideways accelerate your career? It comes down to something hiring managers care deeply about but rarely say out loud: adaptability. When you've proven you can succeed in multiple contexts, sales then operations, then strategy, you signal something critical. You're not just good at one thing, you're a leader who can run anything. Internal candidates who've made lateral moves ramp up 20 to 30% faster than external hires when promoted. They already understand the culture, the politics, the unwritten rules. The quote that keeps coming up in this research: lateral movement evolved from career detour to strategic advancement pathway. It's not a backup plan anymore. It's the primary strategy. Lateral hiring increased 13.9% in 2024 alone. Organizations finally recognize what employees already knew. Horizontal movement creates loyalty and capability simultaneously. Now here's where this gets tactical. Not every lateral move is strategic. Some sideways shifts just leave you stuck in a different place. The difference? Intentionality. Strategic lateral moves share 3 characteristics. They give you exposure to revenue generation. They build skills your current role can't teach you. And they position you for senior leadership eligibility. If you're considering a lateral move, you might want to ask yourself, does this role give me P&L experience? Customer-facing exposure? Technical skills required for the VP track? Here's one approach that works. Identify departments in your company that are growing or have executive attention. Those are your targets. That's where the future leaders are being made. Let me tell you about Marcus. He was a senior product manager at a fintech company. Good reviews, solid reputation. But the VP role he wanted had 3 other people in line ahead of him. He could have waited. Hoped the people above him would leave. Instead, he pitched something different. He asked to move laterally into operations, a team rebuilding their entire infrastructure. His manager thought he was crazy. That's not a promotion, she said. That's not even a raise. But Marcus understood something she didn't. The operations rebuild was the CEO's top priority. 18 months later, he had led that transformation. He presented to the board twice, and when the chief operating officer role opened up, he was the only internal candidate with both product and operations experience. This pattern shows up consistently in the research. Quote, "The premium on adaptability means lateral movers who've proven they can succeed in multiple contexts become especially attractive candidates." But here's where most people mess this up. They frame their lateral move as an escape. I want to leave my current role. Wrong energy, wrong framing, wrong outcome. Consider framing it differently. Frame your lateral move as skill expansion. I want to add capabilities that will help our company. That positions you as strategic, not desperate. Here's the exact language that tends to work. I've been thinking about how I can bring more value to the organization. The work happening in your department aligns with skills I want to develop. Notice the framing. You're not abandoning your current team. You're expanding your toolkit. You're becoming more valuable to the whole company, not less committed to it. One thing many successful lateral movers do before making the switch, they secure a sponsor in their current role. Someone who can vouch for them after they've moved. That sponsor becomes crucial. When someone asks, "Why did she leave product management?" you want someone credible saying, "Because she's building executive-level skills. Watch her." Now let's talk timing. Not every moment is right for a lateral move. But in 2026, the conditions are nearly perfect. And here's why. Companies facing talent shortages are doing what's called quiet hiring. They're reshuffling capability inside the organization rather than recruiting externally. That creates opportunities for those who position themselves. If you're watching for the right moment, consider targeting Q1 or periods right after major company initiatives. That's when budgets reset and new headcount opens up. Here's a move you might want to try. Schedule coffee with the leaders and departments you're targeting before any role opens up. Build the relationship when there's no pressure. Then when budget frees up, you're already in mind. I want to address the elephant in the room. Some people will tell you that lateral moves signal a lack of ambition, that you were passed over, that it's a step down disguised as a step sideways. Let me tell you who thinks that. People who've never made it past middle management. People still playing by rules written 30 years ago. The data is clear. They're wrong. In a world where organizational hierarchies are flattening, breadth of experience creates more senior leadership opportunities than depth alone. That's not opinion. That's what the research shows. The CEOs of tomorrow aren't the ones who spent 20 years in one function. They're the ones who understand sales and engineering, finance and product, operations and customer success. So here's your cheat code for this episode. Stop asking, "What's my next promotion?" Start asking, "What experience am I missing for the role I want in 5 years?" Map backward from that future role. What skills does it require? What experiences do you need? And critically, what departments could give you those experiences through a lateral move? Then do your research. Find out which departments are growing, which have executive attention, which are doing work that will matter in 3 years. Those are your lateral move targets. And if this kind of career strategy is useful to you, consider subscribing. We put out new episodes every week covering the moves that actually get people promoted, not the corporate platitudes. Let me leave you with one more story. A colleague of mine, Sarah, was stuck as a senior marketing manager for 3 years. Every promotion cycle, someone else got the director role. Instead of waiting for a 4th time, she pitched to move to the data analytics team. 0 experience in data. But she understood marketing measurement, and they needed that perspective. 8 months later, she built the company's first unified measurement framework, something no one in data or marketing had been able to do alone. She'd combined both perspectives. When the VP of Marketing Analytics role was created, they didn't post it externally. They called Sarah. Turns out the sideways move put her in position for a role that didn't even exist before. That's the hidden power of lateral moves. They don't just position you for existing roles, they can create new ones. Roles that require your unique combination of experiences. So the next time someone tells you to keep climbing up, consider asking yourself, what would happen if I moved sideways instead? What doors would that open? Your action item this week: identify one department in your company that's growing or has executive attention. Have a single exploratory conversation with someone there. No ask, just curiosity. Because here's the thing about ladders, everyone's fighting for the same rungs. But when you move sideways, you find ladders nobody else is climbing. That's your cheat code for the week. The fastest way up isn't always up. Sometimes it's sideways. Now go make that move.